This is Leetcode number 210, course schedule 2. This question is talking about a total of num courses you have to take, labeled from 0 to num courses minus 1. You have an array of prerequisites where a given prerequisite, there's two elements. The first element is the course. The second element is the course that is a dependency, and the first element is the one that you can only take it after the dependency has been completed. So the function takes in numCourses prerequisites. There are four things that we want to instantiate. Four things. The first thing is the order, because we want to return the result ordering. We also want a queue because we're going to want to put individual courses into this queue. We want a graph because this graph is going to keep track of the dependency courses as well as which courses are depending on those dependency courses. And finally, we have an in-degree an array, and this in-degree array is going to be filled with 0, and that's going to be used for keeping track of which courses are not dependent on any other courses. So those are the four initializers that we first need. Next, we have a for loop, and we basically want to go ahead and update the graph as well as the in-degree in this for loop. So we iterate through all of the prerequisites, and we see, does the graph have V? And V, remember, is the dependency course. If graph has V, then we're going to go ahead, we're going to push E into the value for graph.get V. Else, we're going to want to do graph.set V and then set it to be an array of E. And what this will do is basically tell us what are the dependency courses and what are the courses that depend on that dependency courses. And now in the end of every loop, we also want to update the in-degree array. We want to do in-degree bracket E bracket plus plus because we want to know for a given course, how many courses does it depend on before you can take it. So for example, let's say course 3 requires that you take 1 and 2, then the in-degree of that is going to be 2 because you have 1 and 2. So that's in the first for loop. Next, we have a second for loop. We want to populate our queue with all of the courses that have an in-degree of 0. So we loop through the in-degree array, and if in-degree of the current index is 0, we're going to push the I into the queue. And then finally, we have the while loop. The while loop continues until the queue is empty. First, we set v equal to be q.shift, which is going to be the first element in the queue. And then we check, does the graph contain v? If it does, we want to iterate through all of the dependency courses for v, and then we want to decrement the in-degree e for that given iteration. And if the in-degree e becomes 0, then this means we're ready to push that e course into the queue. Now, outside of the if, we basically want to push v into order. And this will continue on until the very end. Outside of the queue loop, we're going to have a ternary. numCourses, if it equals the order.length, we're going to return order. Otherwise, we're going to return an empty array. And that's it for this question.